Thank you, Evan, and welcome in the studio here, Chad Rozema, flying solo. Normally right now, I'd love to introduce my Hall of Fame buddy, Randy Waples, but he's off tonight, so I'm going to see what I can do to direct this ship throughout this 10-race program that we've got under, yet again, perfect conditions. Maybe some rain overnight last night. But that's gone away. It's been hot and humid throughout the day, and it's supposed to continue throughout the night before we get into maybe some poor weather tomorrow. But for the most part, it looks like we're going to have a great night here and expect to see probably some pretty quick miles again. And we can get a live look out there at the track and what's going on. There's the water truck hard at work. Is that, again, under this heat, that's going to be drying up pretty quickly. But this track has been in fantastic shape the last several cards, and I can't see why that's going to be any different here tonight. So under perfect conditions for the 10-pack as we get this long weekend underway, Victoria Day long weekend here in Canada. Everybody enjoy your long weekend. We like to call it the May 2-4 long weekend. And hopefully you're able to take it in right here at Mohawk Park, if not via simulcast, because we've got lots on the go. We've got more details coming up later in the program that we'll be talking about. What we've got coming up tomorrow, of course, is going to be a huge Saturday night, not just on the track, but also right here at the track as far as what's going on outside of the horse racing. So we'll have more details on that, but we've got lots to get to. Although Randy's not here, in person, he has still managed to send in several replays. I've got some replays mixed in, so we've got a lot that we want to cover here on the program, and it's a tall task, but I'm set to go. So it's not that we're going to cover necessarily a ton of races in the pregame show here, but we do have a lot of visual replays. So let's dive right on in here. If you're all ready to go, let's go race number 1. Early pick 5 guaranteed at $75,000, and there's what we've got going on right now. So we get to see what's happening in the early wagering. No surprise really to see the Luke Blade trainee Charlotte Station opening up with attention. All of these determination and Blay horses always seem to get a lot of play, especially early on. But I think she'll continue to, coming in off of her pari-mutuel debut winning effort as a sophomore, but that was the first ever win of her career. She's such a nice looking daughter of Captain Treacherous. Nice to see her get that win out of the way, and that could spark something as well for her, because this could generate maybe a bunch of wins in a row. Who knows? But I know they're probably going to have pretty high hopes for her. There's some others in here that are maybe have aspirations of being at the stakes level this season. Some that are just kind of getting back to work, like an Always Dawn from the inside, or even further out to the gate, the Wrigley bred Spoiled Beauty. And that's where we're going to start with our coverage as far as looking back at the most recent. And Spoiled Beauty in this last race. So she's competed 4 times so far this year. One right out of the gate. Since coming up to a nominators of 2, that being a nominators of 2 or 30,000 lifetime, she's been just kind of a check getter. But this last race, she was pinned down to the inside, and, McNair was able to, find some room for Spoiled Beauty. You can see she's the one, he starts to kind of work her to where she can maybe pace on through, and look at him swing wide here. So as he's going, that way, they're all going forward, and then she starts to rally on the end of it. DG Holy Shimoli, who unfortunately stuck with an outside post here tonight, put in a good rally from the back of the bus, but I thought Spoiled Beauty really moving well on the end of it. 27-1 final quarter kicker, 1 mile and 52-3 for her. To me, it was certainly, even though it wasn't a win, I think it was her best effort that we've seen to date. And now she's actually at a cheaper nominators of 2. I talked about Always Dawn getting back to work. This is her 3-year-old debut for the Kevin Ben trainee. She's a daughter of Always Be Mickey that last year at 2, she did win her final start as a rookie in 53-1, so maybe coming in with some confidence, albeit she's probably forgot that. But she's had 2 qualifiers. James drove her in both. She made a break early in the first one, but then rebounded, I thought, on this one, because we actually saw a visual of this last night. I forget who we were profiling out of the same one, but she was 3rd in here. But if we can continue to roll this beyond the finish into the run out, I think you're going to see an even better moving Always Dawn, who she was doing her best movement on the end of it. 26-2 was her final quarter kicker, and look at her there going into the opening turn, ranging up on the outside, and going around Bob McClure, who ended up winning that race. But Always Dawn. I thought a really nice effort for her in that contest. Yeah, she's got to deal with the rail. I'm not sure how hard she'll be able to push away from there. She does possess the ability to leave out, so she could get positioned well, but this is one that, I think James is going to try to work out some kind of a trip for. And, if he gets away mid-pack, can he end up, following a helmet to trigger that second over, or is it a trip where you're going to be close enough that you can maybe just take your chance to save the ground and hopefully something develops in the stretch where you call on her there? I could definitely see Always Dawn winning first time out of the season. I could see Charlotte Station obviously coming right back and winning again. She's more than capable of winning against this kind of a group. It gets side rolls added here tonight too. But then Spoiled Beauty. Not only a Spoiled Beauty, as I talked about, coming in off of that effort where I thought it was really good from her, the best I've seen, but that was numbers of 230,000 life. This is now a numbers of 218,000, so she gets to be in a bit of a cheaper numbers of 2, albeit she's got to work from an outside draw, but she can leave out of there well enough. So I think Doug McNair's got himself positioned for, what could be a really productive night. He's got a lot of live ones on the card, start to finish. That continues to more on the Saturday card. So I think you're going to see quite a bit of Doug McNair into the mix. I'm not saying he's going to reel off a whole ton of wins. Hope he does, because I've got him picked in a bunch, but I think you're going to see him with a productive weekend coming up here as well. Could start right off the bat with Spoiled Beauty. That's what I hope. Over to race number 2 is where we head next. Stick with the pace, 5 and under. It's a nominators of 1 for these group of 9 in here. Some pretty lightly raced horses. Back again for more is Wah with Blay and Determination on Sea Life Hanover. And, this is it was an expensive Captain Treacherous yearling purchase that now at age 3 does have that 1 lifetime win and 3 starts, but it came at Flamborough Downs. But he's showing improvement. Louis, he talked about this guy and being a little green, which is to be expected with not much experience, but he's going to probably get better with each start. And his most recent, I know he didn't win, but he was right there on the end of it. And we do want to look back at the most recent race from Sea Life Hanover, because what he showed in there is a quicker ability to leave out. Got away in 27-2 in that opening quarters, what he showed to get it to secure a 2-hole trip. You could see him turning for home, following Doug. Right now he's 3rd along the inside, but he's following Doug, who ends up winning with Wicked Express, holds on there. Control Rocks, is going to rally from the back, ends up being 2nd in here. This was that race, ended up being a 3-way photo, for win. I mean, not much separated them at all. You're going to see Louis, who calls on his charge. He starts to rally in the stretch, able to angle here in between these horses. Dougie on the lead, Billy bearing down on him. Now Louis in between. Sea Life Hanover, to me, showing quite a bit in between horses here. And although, he didn't come away with the win, he ended up finishing the furthest back of that 3-horse photo. It was a good effort from him. And then, past the wire, where is he? He's in front. 52-2 effort for him, so able to drop time, which he's done in every single charted line that he's got in here. So Sea Life Hanover is going to continue to get play probably more than he's ever got here tonight. In the center of the gate, I'm intrigued by one that Jody Jameson's got for Brian Ramsey, who owns and trains this son of Rock and Image. Here he is in the only charted line he's put up so far this season. It was a May 9th qualifier. He's in the pocket right now. There's a horse to the outside of him and obviously the pace setter in front of him. But if you can see here, coming off of this last turn, Jody has an opportunity to maybe angle, even wider to put this guy in for an opportunity to swing by this pair in front of him. But he opts to just say, you know what? Instead of doing that, let's just stay down, protect him on the helmet and behind him. You can see he wants to go forward. He just wasn't given the opportunity to do it. This isn't going to hurt him at all. To me, he's finishing with pace, with still a bow in his neck there. I liked what I saw from him, and through that, 57-2 is what he got around the oval. He showed some ability last season, started out on the small tracks, Clinton before going to Grand River for an outing, and then tried a couple of starts here in the fall. One of them was decent, but he showed some ability to be able to pace on the end of it. Can he drop enough time to be a factor against these others, some that are maybe showing quicker times than he does right now? I'm hoping. And, with a good draw, if Jody decides to put him in play early, maybe this is one that's live on the end of it at a price. That's certainly what I'm hopeful for. So I do like all-time Rock off of that qualifier. I'll give him a shot. But Sea Life Hanover, obviously, you got to respect him, especially coming in off of that 52-2 effort. A couple others they tossed in. Julie Walker's Torque Delight Second start here, I mean, rallied home at 26-3, came from well out of it, was really moving on the end of it, and liked what I saw from that son of Bettor's Delight. And, you know, he's lightly raced as well, and he's only got a few starts this season, but showing nice progressions, a good draw to work from. Bob McClure is going to be back aboard. And then this Hello Darkness. Although he hasn't been able to win despite being the favorite in 2 of 3 starts and close to being the favorite in the other one, he's been there, and he's been in the mix. He's learning the game, plying his trade. Now tonight it's another challenge because he's got to work from an outer post position. We'll see what we get from Hello Darkness. James McDonald's going to stay aboard that Tony Beaton trainee. 5, 1, 6, and 8 is what I'm going to go in race number 2. We're going to skip over a couple of them. We'll go back, move on to race number 6 as we continue with some replays. But I can tell you right now, race 3, that starts the early pick 4. 4th race, pick 6, gets underway there as well. Race number 6 is where the second pick 5 is starting. We've got a group of 8 now with the scratch of the outside charge, Invincible Hanover, who figured to be a pretty big long shot in here. Control Rocks, we just saw his effort in his latest, and you know, he was one that was held up on some poor cover 2 prior. Ended up being 3rd there. Got play because of that next time out, and he raced well, but we got to give credit to Wicked Express too, because he dug in and held on and won that win photo on the inside. But Control Rock, still a good effort from him. I think Jack Darling's probably pretty happy with the way that this guy is progressing. So he's obviously going to get some play. I think Nova Blue is going to get some attention for Travis Henry and Gary Murner, knocking on the door. 3 straight runner-up finishes for this guy. Silky Choice for Team Jameson. I mean, Carl Jameson's barn's been rock solid. Seems like, many nights we're seeing him lately with some wins. Silky Choice was the betting favorite in the latest contest. Didn't get to get to the winner's circle, but what happened with Silky Choice is that he raced from the back, got away 7th, and then he was to the inside. And then at this point here, just prior to this, he was actually fortunate to be able to swing to the outside, just the way that the flow was happening. It allowed Jameson to get out there. Now he's 4th over with the race favorite in here, and he's still going to put in a good finish. Ends up being 3rd, 27 seconds final quarter, 53.1 miles. So another, improvement for him from a time perspective. And again, although he didn't win, I would still think the connections are probably pretty happy with the way that he has been performing. Nova Blue coming out of the same contest ends up being 2nd there. See a couple others. Remember, Freak Days a Week. Ended up getting used aggressively and he ended up tiring late in that contest. But Silky Choice was moving pretty well on the end of that mile. The one that Bob's driving there, that was the one that I was talking about in race number 2, if I'm not mistaken. As I go back there, I think that was Torque Delight. Yeah, so that was that Torque Delight for Julie Walker and Bob McClure that I mentioned. That's going to be in race 2. So if you were noticing another one that was really kind of flying on the end of it, that's exactly who that was there. So that was Silky Choice. A horse that caught my eye, when I was upstairs calling the action that night, it was the debuting son of Shadow Play for Kevin Ben. And I've always respected Kevin Ben with these youngsters that he develops and then brings here. He just always seems to do a nice job of, teaching them or bringing them along. And James McDonald really solid too in teaching these horses. And I think Shadow of an Angel needs some teaching. Had the 9-hole in the pari-mutuel debut. You could see was maybe a bit aggressive, a little hot perhaps early on. But, on the end of this, and here he is now, he's settled at this point, pretty much. James has kind of got him calmed down, but he's on the inside at this point, not really anywhere to go. And he doesn't necessarily shake free to be able to go ahead in here. Glowing Lou, who Bob McClure is driving from his first over trip, he backs up, and he kind of backs up into James, the Shadow of an Angel. So you can see he ends up having to change course there. Never really gets that huge opening. I know here he can start to close, but at this point, James knows it's all for naught. He's just kind of letting him pace on the end of it. So he got some experience. I mean, 53-1 is what he paced in his debut. He works from an inside draw here tonight. Second start, I'm hoping, and I know maybe I'm a bit early on this guy, but if I'm going to get a price on him, in an opportunity where perhaps he can make a big jump from start 1 to start 2, it could be tonight. And so I'm willing to give this guy a shot from the inside post. I saw some nice things from him, and I'm going to go that direction. I do like Control Rocks, and I do like Silky Choice, but they're kind of the more obvious ones. Nova Blue obviously too, but Shadow of an Angel is one that I think is capable of improving. We've seen them; they can make big jumps from start 1 to start number 2, and that's exactly what I'm looking for here with Shadow of an Angel. So that is the direction I'm going to go in that 6th race, kickoff to the late pick 5, 3, 6, 1, and 7. Speaking of 7, let's go there. Race number 7 next to start the late pick 4. And in this contest here, we've got a group of 8, 5 and under on the pace, nominators of 16,000 lifetime. Aquinas Hanover from the 8-hole is installed as the morning line favorite, and I think he's going to get plenty of play. I mean, James and Gallucci with Misty Cove on the inside coming off a first over, rather powerful win in 52-4. He's going to get attention, as well. A Wicked Express, we just saw him win. And showed toughness and grit in the stretch to be able to fight on the inside and hold on for that victory. But, Aquinas Hanover, we saw it again last night. Bob and Justin Turcotte, they're getting more opportunities together, and they're doing very well with the opportunities they got. And, this guy last year, he showed some issues with his gait. He was liable to all of a sudden kind of put in a nasty break. Time and again, never really seemed to kind of get that straightened away. But I haven't minded what I've seen so far from him this season, including the most recent, which was after getting a tune-up at Rito Carlton, they decided to ship him here, rejoin the Justin Turcotte barn, and Justin drove him himself on this occasion. So now he hands the lines over to Bob. I think that's another kind of key as well. Justin might have wanted to sit behind him on this occasion and see, hey, is there anything I can maybe improve on, tinker with, whatever it may be. It was a ground-saving trip for him, but he does pace home in 26-2, and that was after a 27-4 third quarter. So that's a 54-1 back half, a mile of 52-3 in just a second of the year. Aquinas Hanover, to me, if he had any rust left to shed, this is probably going to get rid of it here. I would think he's geared up for a pretty solid effort tonight. Asiago Sealster, who Bob drove in that occasion, no surprise that he ended up going that direction. In that effort for John Pentland. That guy's going to be in the SBOA final tomorrow night. But Aquinas Hanover, I think you could even maybe see a more forwardly placed approach with him. But I'm not saying he necessarily even needs to do that, because I think he could prove to just be faster than these. If he can, just continue to pace smooth, keep his gait in check, just fine. And to me, he looked good there. I think Aquinas Hanover gives McClure and Turcotte yet again another win. So I'm going to go with him on top, 8, 1, 5, and 6 in that 7th race. We'll skip over 8. That's a trotting group. Race number 9 is where we head to. That's our feature of the evening. It is the Fillies and Mares Preferred. Not to look too far ahead, but tomorrow's Preferred for the boys. My goodness. I mean, the Dave Maneri, 1-2 punch there, the two-headed monster, whatever you want to call it, Irvin Hanover back, Brew Hanover, they both got win streaks on the go. And then Nijinsky is joining the fray as well, and others in that spot. It's a really good Preferred. It's a really, really nice-looking Saturday program. But here's what we've got for the Fillies and Mares Preferred. And I'll tell you, who's been winning a bunch of Preferreds this season has been Dave Maneri. And it's been trotting Preferreds, boy Preferreds, the Mare Preferreds. Century Jamila has been part of that. There's been others as well for him, Blue Pacific. But now he's got another one back. It's a Love Thing, making her 4-year-old debut off another fantastic season. She was such a great 2-year-old, came back as a real strong 3-year-old as well. And by all accounts, it was just one qualifier. But off of that May 9th qualifier, she looks good to go. And we're going to see that in a moment. But first, we want to go back to last week's Preferred and have a look at some of the mares and how it played out. Now, Caviar and Crackers has never looked better. She's never performed better, and Team Hensley has done such a great job. They have got her firing on all cylinders right now. And she was one that took, a handful of starts before she got a win, but she's liked the taste of victory, because after that winning effort in the numbers of 15,000, she's reeled off back-to-back Preferreds, and those are the only 2 Preferred wins so far of her career. And last week, it didn't really set it up for a closer, because the half was rung up in 57. Century Jamila coming off a trouble trip. She chopped it, and she still raced well. Here she is turning for home. And, a slow first half. It's going to be a pretty quick back half of 55. So you got to try to out-sprint them. But Caviar and Crackers, that's her game, right? Sprinting. And although it maybe didn't play to her advantage from a pace scenario, she was still good enough to be able to get up here. Odds on Platinum, maybe she ends up winning if she ever gets out earlier. But Caviar and Crackers, I can't take anything away from her because she has just been so good. And look at her, streaking to victory there. Tells on a roll, coming out of that same contest, got away third, stayed to the inside, a bit of a shuffle. To me, although she was fifth, and you'll say, well, you know what, that was a position further than she was in her return. She paced home in 26 and change. It was a good back half. I think she's come back solid. She got some time away, well-deserved. Now she's gearing up for, another very productive campaign for the Cullens. And I think Tells on a Roll is going to take a big step forward here tonight. I've got her actually into the exacta, but I think it's a love thing. Although she's never had to face older horses, she's always been in against her own kind at 2 and at 3. I think she's built to be able to handle something like this. And we're going to go back to that only qualifier for her. So the one she's chasing is Irvin Hanover for Dave Maneri. Well, James is in the 2-hole with this Maneri trainee. It's a love thing. Both of them look fantastic. I mean, they went 28-2, 57-1, 25 to 3/4, and then it was a 26-second sprint on the end of it. And she matched, the stablemate's final quarter with a 26 of her own. James is, an extra length in behind that leader, but he's not chasing her. You can see where the whip is. She's doing this all on her own. She comes away with a mile in 51-2. I don't know if Dave's plan all along was, let's qualify her twice. But when she ended up going that kind of a mile, maybe he said, well, you know what? No, we're good to drop in the box off of that 51-2 change. And if that was, the deciding factor, then I agree as well. Because I think that, she'll be just fine in here. And she's shown the ability to be able to do it from any which way. So I think, she can handle, what's going to be thrown at her in here. I don't think this is something that, James can say, I'm going to just send her down the road. Well, no, because I don't think that's necessarily her anyway. I think others will be able to put up the speed, but it's a love thing in a group of 7. I think she can work out a trip that ends up being a winning one. So I do like her to win her return. So looking forward to that Fillies and Mares Preferred in race number 9. How about the finale, race 10? Let's talk about it. One of the big stories in here is the high five continues to grow. We're over 200 grand now, 208,000 plus coming into tonight, and it is the pop-up series final for Fillies and Mares. We've got a group of 10 that'll close it out. Aiming for the sweep is going to be Lady Tara, and I mean, if she's anything like she's been in the first 2 legs, she should be awfully tough. She's drawn well in here. I mean, it was an open draw, but she won very easily in the first start, May the 2nd, but then last week she had to go some quicker fractions because she was on the front, and Doug McNair decided to say, you know what, I'm going to take Lady Get Lucky, who's been racing well as well, brought her to the outside, took a rush at her, and forced her to, pick it up and fight and fend her off if he could. Well, she did. And we're going to see the results of that because Lady Tara, I know that Louis was driving one last bet, and I think I even said it in my call here. He's 4th on the outside right now, ranging up. Inside is Lady Tara. Lady Get Lucky on the outside was the one that was taking it to her and forcing her to go 22 and 3 to the 3/4. But it didn't soften her up enough to be able to benefit, either Lady Get Lucky or One Last Bet, who you'd think if it was going to help anybody, it would be One Last Bet. Now, I know she raced well to get up for second, but Lady Tara, despite having to stave off this pressure, she was still good to go here. I mean, she's still going to win by a length and a half, to spare. Tonight, they might, try and throw some things at her again, but with the inside draw, I think she's got a bit of an advantage in here. And like I say, if she just continues to be as solid as she's been in the first couple of weeks, she should be tough to defend against here in this pop-up final. So it goes through her, and that's where I'll start. But I do have Dougie with Lady Get Lucky in there second, One Last Bet as well, then Cheese Party and Powder Play. Nothing real exotic in there. So that's a look at the replays that we've got here on the program tonight. We do have 2 pick 5s for you to play. The early one, of course, guaranteed at $75,000. Randall normally would be tossing his in. He'll be back this weekend with more of those, but we've got John and Rawlis, and we know Johnny will be punching this ticket. He's usually keeps it pretty thin, and that's what he does here with a couple of options in the opener. I know he's a fan of Always Dawn. Race number 2, he's got 3 possibilities. The singles for John All in on Gentrifying Race 3. I don't mind that pick because I'm going to try her off the bench as well. And he's all in on French Vodka, another one that I'm a big fan of. I liked what I saw from this guy for Team Christopheru. Man, their horses look so good. And then if he can get through those first 4, he's got to be feeling pretty good because he's got 4, 6, 8, and 9 in that 5th race anchor leg. So all the best to John Rawlis. We'll have his picks throughout the night as well. This morning, a busy slate for the qualifiers. 11 of them were out there, and there was quite a few big names. We're not going to profile each and every one of them, but we do just want to kind of highlight through some of those qualifiers that did take place here earlier this morning. And early indications for me, I mean, I haven't talked to any of the drivers. I know there wasn't any kind of a variant given, but we did have some rain overnight, so the track maybe was perhaps a little dead. I'm not sure because some of them weren't going maybe as quick as I quite thought. But as we do look at this, Sylvia Hanover making her second charter line of the year. I would think connections were happy here. Larry Carr, who's a pretty quick one, went down the road, ended up winning in 53-1. But Sylvia Hanover, who got away third, she ends up closing on the outside here, and although doesn't go by, she's still second, beat a half, comes home in 27-3, paces in 53-1 herself. Looks good out there, to me, pretty good physically. So looking forward to her return to the, I would think the preferred ranks before getting into the Roses Are Red around the NA Cup time, of course. A couple of qualifiers later, making his second qualifying line of the year is Private Access, now a 4-year-old for Luke Blais and company. And he ends up winning his second qualifier here in 156-2 on the front end. Pretty solid showing from this guy. Louis in the bike there, of course. And he led from, pretty much after the half. But other ones in behind, that's Amigo Volo, the double millionaire on the outside that angles out. Pemberton returning. He ends up trotting third. Bert Renault doing the driving. But nice effort from both Private Access and Amigo Volo in that spot here in 56-2. The next qualifier for the Pacers, Captain Deo, who is some beach somewhere eligible for Gary Murner. He was able to win his first start of the year here before heading south of the border Plainridge and winning a stakes event. He's just continuing to kind of stay in shape. Not sure if maybe a class didn't fill for him or whatever it may be, but here he is ranging up, in the stretch to take over the lead. He'll end up winning in 55, home in 28 on the end of it. HP Bellissimo was second. The undefeated Volcanic finishing in third there for McNair, Team McNair, with a 27-4 kicker on the end for that guy. Couple of qualifiers later, one that's come back really good as well, but she'll have to with the likes of Chantilly and maybe some other fillies in the division as the Captain Treacherous filly Can't See Me for Team Stacy. She won on the front end. This was the most impressive one of the morning. 27-3 final quarter, 52-3 mile. Looks really good, when doing it as well. She's got some boys chasing her in behind, including Bruno from McClure and Gabby Sasso. I mean, a good effort from that one, but I mean, look at Can't See Me, and I don't really see Louis, kind of calling on her much. So I would say the connections are probably excited to see her. I liked what I saw from her last season. Team Blais, Determination, they were back in action with a Moticon Legacy, another qualifying attempt for him. He manages to find some room late to score a victory in 58-2. Final quarter in 28-2. Others in here, Ngawa for Paul McDonnell ends up rallying to be second. Stayed trotting here. And then some other 3-year-olds for McEnany and Etzel when you talk the likes of Pierre and Paris and Shutter Green in here. Unfortunately, extended session. We know he's a fast horse and talented, but again, another effort where he just was on the gallop. Just kind of refuses to reset right now. So some pretty good performances, here this morning. That's the time of year. I know the Meadowlands tomorrow morning. They've got a busy slate for qualifiers as well, and a lot of big names. And then before we know it, I mean, it's going to be a couple weeks' time when we start getting into June, when those baby races are going to start being unveiled. I would imagine it'll be a Friday and Saturday schedule with those busy slates. And to me, that I love that time of year when we get into those. So that is our qualifying look. And, talking about returning stars, well, we've got returning stars tomorrow on our program. I mean, how about reigning horse of the year, Chantilly? She is just such a buzz horse. Can't wait to see her back in action. I'm sure the connections are just thrilled to see her back racing. They would have probably loved to have seen an elimination take place last week, but no need for it in the SBOA final. She goes right there. She's drawn the 6, so we'll have the fields in a moment, but looking forward to her. She's in race number 2, so early on the program. Come on out on the Great Saturday card to see her. And then later on the program, we'll have Nijinsky is going to be coming back to race as well. And Nijinsky, our Pepsi North America Cup champ, from last season, is going to make his 4-year-old debut, and he's had a couple of qualifiers. His latest one was very sharp. He's got a tall order tomorrow against, as I talked about, with the Maneri 2 horses in Urban Hanover and Brew Hanover, and then others into the mix as well. But I know he's looked great. The reports have been fantastic about him, and I'm sure they're excited to get the 4-year-old campaign underway for Nijinsky. So that's just 2 of the stars on what really is a star-filled Saturday program here tomorrow night. And headlined tomorrow by the SBOA Stakes Final. We've got 4 finals that are going to be taking place as part of that 10-race card tomorrow on Saturday, with 2 of them that went right to the final, and then 2 that did involve eliminations, and they were for the trotters. So let's have a look at those SBOA Stakes fields on the card. The first one that we will see is Chantilly's, as I mentioned, in race number 2. And there you can see she got post 6, field of 11 in this spot here. You got the likes of Millie Mae Hanover, Perfectly Chic, Wicked Single. I mean, there's some really good ones. We've got such star power in our provincial program. So many great Ontario-sired horses, but led by, none more star powerish than a Chantilly. So really looking forward to her. The next SBOA final that we've got on the program on Saturday is for the Thrilled Filly Trotters. And this, we did need a couple of eliminations. Mona Lisa and Green Glider were the elimination winners. In there, they've drawn post 3 and 4 respectively. It's a group of 9. There was a scratch at scratch time, and the one that could have drawn in the also eligible, Ivy Lynn, ended up racing last night on the card, so it's just going to be 9 of them. That's race number 4 to start the pick 6. The next SBOA finals in race number 6. That's going to be for the Thrill Colton Gelding Trotters, but we'll have a look at the Pacers first. They went straight to the final. Crackshot looked awesome, I thought, winning last week, but Out of Ice and 5th and 5, a couple of nice ones for Team Jameson. Boxer Sealster back, Asiago Sealster. So that's a deep group as well. That is race number 8 on the card. But the trotting one is race number 6 for the Thrill Colton Gelding Trotters. And that was where Blade, Determination, and Wall were able to sweep the limbs with Day and then Look at Me Go Amigo. Louis going to drive Day from the 4-hole Tyler Jones, who has sat behind Look at Me Go Amigo. He will drive him from the 6-hole. A horse that's going to get some play in there, of course, is Galen Urso, who's a good rallying second in his return, and he wasn't really done much harm in the post-draw. Getting the 7-hole. So looking forward to that. And then, again, that preferred pace with those heavyweights in race number 9 is going to be pretty great as well. But that's the racing action. So come here tomorrow, obviously, for that. It's going to be a great card to take in. Hopefully Mother Nature cooperates and kind of gets all that rain and everything out of the way, throughout the day, whatever it may be. And then we just kind of have, smooth sailing tomorrow night, especially when the fireworks are going to be set to go, because we've got our annual fireworks program tomorrow for the entire family. Hopefully you can join us. It is free admission. Doors open here at 5 o'clock. The place will be packed. It always is. There's going to be tons of things to do here for the entire family. Some food stations, balloons for the kids. There'll be a horse that you can meet and greet with as well. Lots of stuff on the go. And then our 10-race card, which gets underway at 6:35, should be done somewhere in the neighborhood of 10 o'clock. And then the fireworks will start shortly after that. And it is just an absolutely awesome program that they put together for the fireworks. Also tomorrow, come along, play the races. Now, as much as we want to see you, win and win with every bet that you got, well, we know it's inevitable that, there's going to be some losing tickets. Well, there's an opportunity for you to still win with those losing tickets, because if you happen to have one that you'd normally just toss in the trash, well, write your name and phone number on the back of it, and then put it into the drum that's going to be located near the Tim Hortons at the front entrance on the main concourse there. You'll see an HPI Bet window or a booth. You'll be able to drop it in there, and there's going to be draws, 5 of them throughout the night. I think 4 of them are definitely going to be done after the SBOA Stakes of Limbs. Our finals, I should say, are contested. I think those drivers are going to draw those, but prizes ranging from $500 to $50 that'll be deposited into an HPI Bet account. If you're not signed up and you want to, it's quick and easy. It's free to do it. HPIBet.com for more details there. So lots looking forward to that. And in addition to everything we've got going on Saturday for the entire family, this is so popular, and we're so happy that it's back here. Sulky rides at Mohawk Park. Now, these are limited to however many spots are going to be available, but it begins tomorrow. It'll run every Saturday pretty much through the summer to the end of September, and it's open to guests aged 12 and up. Free to register. It's at the guest experience desk. Again, something else you're going to see right when you kind of walk in the main entrance. It's actually just past the Tim Hortons when you come in. You'll see that guest experience desk just on your left. So sign in for that. That is just another thing. If you've never sat behind a horse, it's just fun for the entire family. But we see it every Saturday, and it's such a popular hit. So really looking forward to that. As we get closer to our post time here for this Friday 10-pack, I'm going to leave you with some plays of the night. Randy Waples, who does have his selections in here, he's got his plays as well, but I'm going to go over mine here first. I've got a 4-pack. I'm going to say All-Time Rock off of that qualifier. I'm going to take a shot on him to beat the fave in race number 2. Shadow of an Angel in the 6th race, another one that I talked about. Maybe I'm a little early on this guy, but I saw some ability there, and maybe he can pop up with a big effort in his second outing. I'll call him for an upset. I'm all in on Aquinas Hanover. Tough to ignore McClure and Turcotte right now. And then Made of Magic, just raced here on Monday. Safe to say probably needed the race, but I'm hoping back on short rest is going to have this guy firing even better here tonight in the 8th race trot, so I'm going to go with him as a rebound play. As for the Hall of Famer, he's all in right off the bat here with Charlotte Station, who right now is 2-1. Silky Choice has beat the fave in the 6th race. Then he's got Aquinas Hanover as well, and Tell's on a roll in race number 9, a worth a look. He thinks this one could come up with a winning effort in our Fillies and Mares Preferred. Other plays from the resident handicappers. We've got Garnet Barnsdale, author of the Horse Player's Journal with Spoiled Beauty. John Rawlis with Gentrify, and Ghislain Paquette with Cover Band, who we got some great commentary from Scott Young about that guy and his chances here tonight. Tough not to like him as well. We'll see their picks throughout the evening as well. Glad you're with us, whether it's right here on track to kick off your long weekend or it's via simulcast. It's just a beautiful night out there. It's going to be a great Friday. 10 races coming up here very shortly. We're just a few minutes away from post time. We'll take a timeout. When we come back, we'll get you set up for the $75,000 guaranteed early pick 5.